Ward up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Late Night Live number 47. 47 weeks we've been doing this. How's everybody doing tonight? What up, Dashan? Welcome. Oh, I forgot to put my earbuds in. Whoops. Oopsies. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties right off the bat because I was enjoying listening to my music and I forgot to put my headphones in. Whoops. Connect. There we go. That should solve that problem. Booyah. Can you guys still hear the music? Did I ruin it? What up, Jay? What up, Hody? What up, Jose? What up, Judy? Yay. No music. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Why is there no music? What did I do wrong? The stream might glitch for a second here. I'll be right back. Oh, can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. Oh, no. Why did it break? Shoot. Are we back? I think we're back. Sorry about that. There should be music now, and you should be able to hear the music and my voice, and we should be all good. It is dark on that side of the room today. Chill music. All right, sorry about that, everybody. When I put my headphones in, one of my streaming programs doesn't recognize my headphones right off the bat, so that's good. All right, what are we doing today? Today we are writing... What's going on, Mom? Today we are writing pieces from the Business Educator. I think, at least we're going to try. I don't have any specific pieces. I have a couple on my phone that I can do, but I don't have any real specific ones picked out. I was waiting to see if there were specific ones that you guys wanted. I know in the Discord, Fozzie had recommended a signature, but it is rather challenging. So I'm going to try it, but I'm going to try it a little bit later on in the session once I get a little more warmed up. And speaking of warm up, we're going to get warmed up here first. What up, Tony? What's going on, Benny? Hey, we got lots of people in the chat tonight. That's awesome. I'm excited to write today. I don't know if my hand's going to be in a great mood for writing or not. We're going to hope it is. But I, for some reason, am jazzed to do some writing. I don't know specifically what I'm going to be writing. But we're going to find out. I'm going to be using Iron Gall ink tonight. I know I'm kind of a one-trick pony with the with the walnut ink all the time, but I've been wanting to dip back into the world of Iron Gall a little bit, so we're gonna do that. Oh, what up, James? Deb. Now I know you're here. I can call out the lurker James when I need to. As always, please let me know if the audio is too loud, too quiet, obnoxious. Up to you guys. You let me know. Get warmed up here real quick. Just a few ovals to get the blood flowing. What up, Satvik? Whoa. Bring that a little closer to me, I think. Oh, the video. No, the video is blurry because my camera was focusing on my hand instead of the writing. There we go. I locked the focus. Sorry about that, Penny. That is something that I forget to do at least once a week. It's one of the reasons I try, or I don't do as many live videos and stuff on Instagram, because the Instagram camera keeps trying to focus on my hand and then the paper and then my hand and then the paper, and it's just chaotic. Wet snow? Oh, that's no fun. There's not supposed to be snow in the middle of May. That's not fun. All right. Do I know how to get that iron gall look where it's grayish before it gets the thickest part of the shade? So do you mean the hairlines and everything are sort of grayish and then the thickest part of the shade is black? I think some of that in the old specimens is just the aging of the ink itself. But I think that's just watered down. Like if you have your iron gall and it has some water in it, I think that's just the way some iron galls naturally dry. When there's a big thick swell, it's gonna dry to solid black. But when you're going quickly and you just get like a hairline or going into this shade, there's not enough time for enough ink to go down and you're not getting a huge pool. So I feel like that's when it might dry black. I would say, I don't want you to ruin your ink, but I would say to either get another jar of ink or put some of your ink in like a smaller jar and do a test to see if you can keep adding water. And then it'll be a slow testing process because you'll have to add a bit of water, write like a super thick shade, so do like an A or something like that, because those are usually like the biggest shades we do. Do an A, and then wait until that dries completely, and compare the hairline to the shade. And then if the shade is still black, but the hairline is black, then add a little bit more water and do it again. And I think you'll come to a point where the hairline will dry like a gray, but the full shade will still dry a black because there's enough ink there. There's enough liquid there that then all the particles will be like, they'll drop down to the bottom and then it'll dry black. But I'm pretty sure most of that is just dilution, I believe. Like the iron gall I'm using today, I'm pretty sure is gonna dry all solid black. Maybe I'll add some water to it. Because it's old, I don't use iron gall that often, so this one's quite old and it's quite dark. It goes on nice and it's like a nice grayish, but I'm pretty sure it'll dry quite a bit darker. What up, Ojaswinny? Ah, you weren't here. Somebody called me out on not setting the manual focus on the camera. That was your job and you weren't here, man. If anybody joined in my live video that I did the other day, or when I jumped in the live stream on the Discord the other day, you'll see I've done pretty much one of the only things I've written for the past few days is this capital V, or more specifically this shade, because there's this thing that I get. You can see it right there, and right there. It's not as extreme as it always is, or as it used to be. Sometimes most of the time when I go into this shade, it ends up being quite narrow and almost either here. I'll draw one. It'll end up being like, what's going on, Mohammed? It'll end up being like really narrow like that, or I end up coming in and getting like a. That's a bad example of the shade, but this kink right there all the time, and I've been trying really hard to iron that out to get this nice and round in before I do the shade. It's been I've been practicing what I preach this week. I had an issue and I worked on that issue, and I just worked on that one thing. Every couple lines I would sneak in some other letters just for fun, but then I had to reel myself back in and be focused on specifically what I needed to work on. And it is much nicer. It is not perfect yet, but we are making headway, which is good, which makes me happy. The kink is in the ink. I wish I could blame the ink. I honestly think that for a long time, when I would do this shade, I didn't notice it for some reason. There was other things that I was focusing on in the letter form, and I just didn't notice. And then one day, maybe like a month or two ago, I don't know if I was on a live or what I was doing, but I noticed it. I think I was replicating a specific letter or like a signature or something, and I was having a lot of trouble smoothing out this one entry into the compound curve stem shade. And that kind of woke me up to, wow, you always do that. That is a bad habit that I had no idea I had. So I am doing my best to iron that out. And then hopefully when I'm done ironing that out, I will notice another bad habit that I can iron out after that. Yep, Mohammed, for no real reason. The other one is right here. I always tell people I use my pen holders on a whim. These two are the ones that are always on my desk, so they're the ones I grab for the most. But I was writing with that one the other day, and I sharpened this nib to get some beautiful hairlines, and I honestly don't know what convinced me to switch. I don't know if I was testing something with the nib or an angle, and I just switched it into this one to see how it would feel, because I've been writing with that one now for months pretty much. And the flanges are set up almost the same, even though they look way different. I decided to go back in this one, and I like it, so I'm back to this one for a little while. I had forgotten what it feels like, even though it pretty much feels the exact same. All right, does anybody have any specific pieces from the Business Educator, the American Penman, the Western Penman, any of the old magazines that they want that we could try to analyze or replicate today? And not like probably not long letters or anything like that, or super complicated signatures, because this isn't really a Sig Slingin' Sunday challenge type of thing. But it's just we're gonna try to do some pieces. So I know specifically the Business Educator, the page that has note from the author or author's notes, there's always somewhere on that page a kind of neat looking piece. Thanks, Ervin. I actually just got home from getting my hair cut about 20 minutes before we went live. So it was a come home scramble to get everything ready and then to go live. I'm going to be hosting an event this weekend, so I figured if I was going to be hosting an event and in front of the camera, I should be looking nice. So I got my hair cut. All right, if you're in the chat and there's a suggestion like, Mohammed, I like that letter, I want to check it out. But I don't remember exactly where it is. The best way, if you want to request a piece from the Business Educator, post it in the Discord. I'll have my eye on the Discord during this session. And then I can see and I'll do my referencing in the Discord. Just so we have less of me jumping and filtering through all the Business Educators and fumbling through all that while I'm in the stream. Is that a long letter? I don't remember. Zayner's letter after Blozer wrote his Maddie letter. I mean, I don't know specifically which letter that is, but I guarantee I've seen it and I want to look at it closer now. And then, like I said earlier, Fozzie suggested one of Kanan's signatures that I'm going to take a swing at, but I'm going to wait a little bit, I think, to that one, instead of not diving into a complicated signature right off the bat. I'm going to post that one. Oh, that's a good one. Right, to the best American penman, Mr. E.W. Blozer, from one who would like to be. Alright, here, I'll put that in camera so you guys can see it. Whew. Not an easy piece, but a nice one. Not super long, so I feel like I can take a swing at it. I may only do like half of it. I mean, we'll see how the time goes. That's okay. Don't apologize. That's fine. Do you happen to remember what? Just so we can reference it for anybody who doesn't see your image in the Discord, we can reference what volume and page number it is. I know here your photo is of a printout you made, which is awesome that you have those printed out for reference. But I can't remember what volume, where that is in the Business Educator. I'm probably the worst at remembering all that stuff. Alright, so if you guys want to do this one with me, jump onto the Discord so you can reference the image that Mohammed uploaded there. We're going to take a swing at this one. And this is not going to be a super crazy breakdown, and I'm not going to worry about getting it exactly perfect, because that would take some time and would be rather challenging. We're just going to go for it. Oh, it's in Lessons of Business Pen, or Lessons in Business Penmanship. It's in Lessons in Ornamental Penmanship by PZ Blozer. Okay, so this is in the back of the book that I reference more than any. So there we go. That's good. So all of you should have a copy of that one on your computer or print it out. Here we go. Starting with the compound curve into a stem, continuing into a horizontal oval. I should do a few of those to warm up first, before before I just dive straight into a piece. Oh, too high shade. That's better. Now let's make it bigger. That's where we want. There we go. Those three are the idea. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was off camera there. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit actually, so that it's a little more focused on. I'm not gonna be really writing over here all that much. I'm gonna be writing mostly on this side. So let me move the camera so that you guys are looking at what I'm actually writing a little bit more. I have my tripod really tight. Up real quick here. That's probably a good spot. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just a little bit farther to that side. All right. Let's get focus again, just in case something changed. Am I writing on 48? Actually, no, Bitney. That's a really good question. Lately, the past couple months, I have been training myself for no real reason, just because I want to, but I've been training myself both with paper angle and with getting used to my horizontal ovals and everything, but I've been training myself to get a little more upright, because as we know, I tend to write quite angled when I go quick, and when I go faster, or when I try new things, or there's stress levels or things like that, I tend to write quite angular or quite long, and I'm trying to condense that a little bit. So my theory is that if I train myself to naturally write a little bit more vertical, back on the 52, then when I go faster and accidentally angle a little bit more, it'll get to about usually the 48 point. So my grids, the grid that I'm using today, this guide sheet underneath here, is at 52. All the ones I've been using lately are at 52. It does kind of look like pest. It is an interest. It's a unique bee that would be dangerous to use in a piece today, just because of the fact that a lot of people may not read it as a bee. Oh, right. Oh, cool. Too high. Better. There we go. Yeah. That's what we want now. Big one. Okay. Cool. Alright. Standard TO for the start of this letter. We'll do it right here. I'm gonna do it, I think, a little bit smaller than he ended up doing it. He was writing quite big for this, to the best. Ugh. And that's supposed to be shaded. That's okay. Oh, does he go? Neat. Another T. And then he ends right at that O. Right there. There. Okay. Like that. And then we'll put in our lowercase letters. This is a good example of when words are not superscripted, they're not connected, but they kind of look like they are. Alright, now he does the B with the same stroke. Ooh, I need more work on that stroke. But instead of going into a horizontal oval, we're going up quicker, transitioning to an angled oval to do a B. Now, I have never done this B before. He crosses way over there. Down, that's my target. Part of me wants to do this with whole arm. I'm gonna try it with forearm, but I feel like I might run out of movement at some point. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I went out too far on the bottom there, so it definitely looks like pest or rest. But that's okay. To the best, also very spaced out. American Penman. Wow, this is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 big shades in this piece are all compound curve stems continuing in horizontal ovals, or at least continuing on. You gotta be good at those to do this one. He wrote so big. Oh, I might have used the wrong R. Forgot to shade that one. The BE is pretty dope. Like, I've just finished or was doing some compiling of the American Penman, and there's some dope stuff in there. But I personally can't reference the American Penman nearly as much because I don't know what's in there as much as the Business Educator. I know pretty much everything that's in the Business Educator because I've spent so much time looking at it. But I don't know as much of what's in the American Penman. Oh, Penman. We're gonna add a second N just for fun, so it's the same length as it should be. Oh, whoops. Meh. Does not matter. And then he underlined man, or in this case, Anne. The only text, James, the only text I've looked at really in the Business Educator is the lessons. I've read through the lessons text, but I haven't read, I've read some of the articles, but not nearly as many of the articles as I would like to, or probably should have read by now. 1, 2, 3, 4. P-Man. Oops. I got distracted focusing on something else. That is a tiny shade. You'll notice, like what I did here in American, I added the business penmanship R. That is something that I don't know why that's happening. I've started randomly inserting it into writing. Not always. I go back and forth between that and the standard cursive R, like a lot lately. It just kind of happens, and when it happens, I go, "Oh, didn't really intend to do that, but it felt good at the time, so I did it." All right, E into a stem. Not tall enough and ugly shade. Oof. I need to do some more warm-up today. I'll do half of this letter and then I'm gonna do some warm-up because these shades are not looking pretty. Eek, what is going on? I'll blame the ink. Where does he go with this? Down here, shade, and then finishes over here. Ugh. We're gonna pause from doing pieces for a moment, and I'm gonna do some drills or troubleshoot why this is feeling and looking weird. I think it's chair height, but we'll mess with that anyways. Just did not feel comfortable today. Those stem shades. Here we go. Keep that. Inconsistency. Okay. It's coming. Sort of. What is going on? let's get this looking like Mr. Zayner, shall we? I feel like I'm writing so far to the left. I'm gonna make a quick change. Okay. Still on Iron Girl. Yep. I'm gonna give Blotz its run. It's time in the spotlight. I am really liking the hairlines a lot, and yeah, I want to start writing as well with I found when I was cleaning out my ink jars yesterday an old jar of really watered down walnut that I used to use for slow motion videos, and I want to start using that again because you can see here the it's super light, but it looks cool with the darker edges, so I'm gonna start using that again for slow motion videos, I think, because I think it looks pretty. You can't really see the hairlines, but it makes the big shades look good. Oh, I might have gone too far that way now. I did the beginning of a letter, but I kind of failed at it, so I'm warming up now, and then I think I'm gonna try it again. And then maybe when I'm done that, I'll do the Kanan signature that you suggested. I got a copyright strike on last week's Lego video. The music I was playing was copyright free and I was in the clear, but I got a copyright strike for one of the commercials, which is ridiculous. So hopefully they take that off. 'Cause I don't have any control over the commercials. Hello, Miss Marilyn. Yeah, it was like some like mumble rapper song. I don't remember who it was. And when I looked up the copyright strike, I played the song to hear it, and it was rap. I was like, what? I was listening to a no lyrics, ambient lo-fi stream playlist. And then I realized I watched the video at that specific point and realized that 10 seconds later is the commercial advertising their album. So I was free advertising, but now I got a copyright strike. I agree. Hopefully it's not an issue. I am a YouTube partner, yup. Alright, we'll do one more line of these, and then we'll move on. manages to get his shades so big, and he doesn't have any. You'll notice in his shades, the entrance, like these ones don't show it a lot, but there's some penmen will have like a quite abrupt transition from the downstroke into the compound curve there. But his are just super smooth. Those stem shades are gorgeous. Well, they got what they wanted because I paid for no ads. So there, I now have a Spotify account. I don't really want one, but I have one. So no more ads. No more Jesse. And no more talking about mosquitoes and things like that. I don't know if I'll keep it forever. We'll see. But for now, I have Spotify. Satvik, actually no, today I'm using a Leonard Principle, which is a little bit stiffer than the Hunt 101s that I've been using recently. That may be another one of the reasons that I feel like I'm having a slight issue. So I'm not completely used to the stiffer nib and the pressure it requires. But getting the feel for it. I will not miss Jesse. What's wrong with my pen? Nothing. Is something wrong with it? It's not the one I've been using. I've been using this one most of the time. But I'm using my old holder that I used to use, the old broken leather wrapped holder. But yes, different pen than usual lately. But same pen that I used to use most of the time. And probably the pen I've used most in the past few years. I gotta keep you guys on your toes. Maybe next week I'll use another pen. Alright. What other shades are in here? There was that E into the W. That was nice. Still gotta make that higher, but that's the lovely thing. You can have lots of holders. Yeah, I mean it's a bit stiffer, but I was going for hairlines this week, hence my also change to iron gall. I was on a hunt for some really, really nice hairlines. So I changed to a Leonard Principle. Oh, here's a fun exercise that I've been doing recently, playing with, for working on shade control. So everything's not just sort of autopilot. I will do a stroke, like that compound curve, continuing stem, like so, but you do it all hairline, and then you add like just a little bit of a shade, and then continue keeping the letter the same size, but seeing if you can increase the size of that shade every time. So you get that control of, so you can do the lightly shaded nice and even if you want. Because oftentimes, if there's pieces with, say, an S or something in it that has this compound curve shade, whoa, so those are just turning out bad sometimes today. But it has that, if it has that compound curve shade, and it's in a piece beside, say, like a capital A, bad A, which is usually quite heavily shaded, they obviously don't look good together. So you gotta get the control to shrink that A. I am doing some poo-poo writing today. I'm gonna take a minute and sip some tea and see if I can relax and let that go away. Good question, Ojaswini. I use two things that I think about when I create shades. One is the gripping of the pen. So there's no pressing down that I think about. It's a grip. When you grip the pen, it naturally presses down a little bit. So it's the gripping of the pen, even though most of the time that is sort of a subconscious thing. You don't really actively, or I don't anyways, actively think about squishing the pen more. I have a light grip, and when I press down, when I make the shades, I will naturally tense up my grip just a little bit. And then the other part, the other aspect of it that I think about is my whole arm dipping down into the paper. So it's less of a like pressing down with my wrist or with my fingers, and this whole thing going as I'm writing. That whole thing shade. And the combination of that with the gripping, like there's some articles about both. There's articles that talk about shading from your arm, and there's articles that talk about just using a grip. You can just use, just that grip is oftentimes enough to get a nice shade. I haven't seen any books that talk about specifically pressing down with your fingers. The only time that I do that is with slower writing or with some lowercase letters. I'll shade with my index finger because obviously I don't have the control of my whole arm pressing down to shade like a tiny little like 1 millimeter long shade on like a lowercase r or something like that. So I use my arm. Okay, don't hate me ladies and gentlemen, but I'm gonna change my camera one more time. I can't get comfortable with where I'm writing on the paper today, and I apologize for that. Okay, that should be, go this way a little bit. That should be good. If it's not, well, I'll change it again and I will apologize again. Sorry. Good thing no one ever called me professional. You've been putting your thumb on the back of your nib, right at the flange. There are some penmen that do that, that put the pen right, or their thumb right there on the flange. There are also, it's interesting because there are articles that also talk about not choking up. I think it was a common thing for teachers to get, I think this is a natural thing that happens because we feel like we get more control. But there were penmen back in the day that wrote about relaxing, about coming a little bit farther, not crazy far back, but not crowding the nib, not getting way up there. But when you have your thumb there, you do feel there is a little bit more control feeling. Who is it? One of the Iampath teachers. She doesn't do movement writing. Shoot, I can't remember her name. There is an Iampath teacher who does, she'll get her husband to carve like a little indent in the flange, and that's where her thumb sits. At least last time I saw her pen, she told me about it, which is kind of neat, just a customization specifically for the grip that she likes. Who is that? It'll come to me later. Is it the same in both of my grips? No. I think if you're asking about where my shade comes from, I wouldn't say it's the same, no. Because when I use, like if I was doing slow Spencerian or Engrosser script or something, I would be using a more modern grip like this, rather than my ornamental penmanship. My movement writing grip is like this, so I'm floating on my fingertips or on the edge of my pinky. I have that, there's that cushion, I have that suspension I can press down. But when I use a more modern grip, my hand is to the side, so it's a lot harder. I can do that to a degree, but my hand is pretty much already down as far as it can go because the whole side of it is there. There's no pressure, so I can still press that down into the paper, but it doesn't have the same effect. So when I'm writing slower, it is more so drawing the shade sort of with my fingers. It's more of the, as I'm coming up here, the whole thing like coming down. So it's more so my, not just one finger, but the whole, like if I'm using a tripod grip, if I'm using my 3 fingers, it's all 3 of those fingers sort of pulling the nib down a little. Not pulling, because you don't want to change this, but I guess pressing down. It's sort of that whole thing when I'm using that type of a grip. Less of it happens in my arm. Or it could be wrist, but it's tough because so much of the hand is already on the paper that you can't get there's not a ton of range there to get a good shade. Whereas when you're up here with a traditional grip, you have a lot of space that you can press down. Yeah. More tea. All right, am I warmed up enough to try this piece again? I will finish this page. Focus on that, please. I will finish this page of warm-up, of practice, and then we'll go into try this quote or this letter again. Yeah, it all works together, and a lot of it ends up being subconscious when you get used to it. The muscle memory just does everything. Once you get used to it, it's just a series of moves, like any pattern, that your body will just take care of for you. In theory, hopefully. Shades are so big. All right, new piece of paper, we're gonna go for it. Good paper. My favorite paper is Rhodia R Premium paper. It's the ivory. All Rhodia paper I really like, which is Clairefontaine paper. So Clairefontaine paper is also really good. There are lots of good papers, those just happen to be my favorites. Tomoe River, I love Tomoe River with fountain pen, like for writing letters and things like that. Or if I was gonna do business penmanship, I would use Tomoe River or something that was really, really lightly shaded. But I find with Tomoe River, the paper itself is so thin, and this is potentially not an issue that everybody has. But for me specifically, the paper is so thin that anytime I shade, it will cause the paper to buckle. Even if I'm going really quickly and just adding like a little shade, it makes me feel like I can't trust that the paper's gonna stay there. Like every time I do a shade, it feels like it's gonna move. Even if it doesn't move, I feel like it's going to. So it causes extra strain, I guess. It's amazing paper though. It's like magic. So for unshaded writing or for for a broad pen or something like that, like a fountain pen, it's tough to beat. And if you get a journal of it, where you normally get 200 pages, you can probably fit like 500 pages because it's so thin. It's amazing paper. Could be, you could tape it down. That's so much work. You totally could though. All right, let's try this letter again. Pull up MrMGWard's picture. Like I said before, if you guys want to try this out, jump on the Discord and the OP chat channel, and you can see MrMGWard's post that he took. That's another thing, Fozzie, sweaty hands. If you live in a hot climate and you're a sweaty person, that's tough. I'm lucky that my arms and hands don't sweat that much, but also I don't live in a tropical place, so I don't really have that issue. Yes, that is exactly what I will answer, Fozzie. If somebody has shakes, I will tell them to speed up. Unless they're doing slow writing, then the goal isn't to speed up. The goal is to smooth things out. So if you were doing like in GrosserScript or Copperplate or something, and you get shakes, if you have shakes, the only real things you can do, aside from not drinking coffee if you're going to be writing, because that's going to affect your body and it's going to potentially give you shakes. We all react to coffee differently. But if you're having shaky problems and you're writing slowly, the main things you can do is to breathe, relax, and loosen your grip. That's really the only advice. And what'll usually happen, or what I've seen happen, is I'll say that, and everybody will relax and breathe and loosen their grip and start writing. And about one letter in, all of that tension comes back. And when you have the tension is when you're going to get shakes. When you relax, you smooth out those shakes quite a bit. So if you're doing movement writing and you have shakes, you have to speed up. The same thing applies. You have to smooth things out. You have to relax. You have to loosen your grip. But most of the time, it's because of your tempo. You're trying to control it, or you're going. If you do movement writing just slower, like just slightly too slow, so like not quite fast enough to get smooth, you're gonna have shakes. And that middle ground is a really hard place to control. People often go there. They go a little bit slower because you feel like you have more control and you can focus on where things are going and see where the flourishes and everything are. But what also happens is you're seeing the flourishes and stuff, but also your lines are looking a little shaky. Your hairlines are losing their beautiful, flowy airiness because of that extra bit of, even if it's subconscious, control that you're adding because you're slowing down. So movement writing, my suggestion is usually to speed up just a little bit, but always speed up a little bit, but try to relax, check your posture, check your caffeine levels, because all those things come into play. Are you nervous? Are you live streaming and you don't like like a lot of people will have, and I can testify to this, you will have worse writing when you're on a live stream or when you're talking than you will when you're just relaxed at home by yourself. Because it's stress. That's performance anxiety essentially. So you just have to relax everything. All your muscles have to chill out. What up, Rose? And maybe wine will actually, I know, I've known penmen in the past that students of mine and friends of mine who will testify to writing a lot better after not a lot of wine. You need to have not too much that you can't focus anymore. But a little bit of wine will just calm yourself out. You just need to chill out just a little bit. For those of you who live in a place where smoking a certain substance is not illegal, that might also be a possibility for you, just to chill out. I know even some people, pot is a thing. You could also try, I know some people have really calming effects from CBD, from cannabidiol, which doesn't have THC. You're not going to get high, but there are some people react in a very calming matter to it. I was actually tempted to try some because that's legal, I believe, everywhere because there's no THC in it. It's not technically a drug. But that is, it will relax you. So that is probably one of the, if you are tense, if you have squirrel energy, something like that will chill you out. Take melatonin after your shower. Hey, there you go. After a shower, if you do whatever you do to relax, be like, I need to relax. Go have a cookie. For me, it's what the effect that tea doesn't usually give. When I drink tea, I feel relaxed. I wish my tea was warmer right now. What's going on, Martha? Welcome. Other people, martinis. Have a cocktail. Wine has an amazing effect. Just a little bit of wine, depending on how it obviously it affects different people differently, but it can have an amazing effect. But that's probably the biggest. You just need to relax. You can't over control it, or it's just not gonna look good. There's no real way around that. Oh, the first stroke. The first stroke is the deepest. Not the deepest. The first stroke is the hardest. Who sings that song? The first cut is the deepest. Who's that by? I can't decide what line I want to write on here. I keep going back and forth between two lines. Okay, not a super big shade, but it's a nice oval. And a very Sheryl Crow, there we go. Sheryl Crow knew what was up. That's a tiny little shade. Whoopsies. This has kind of an upward. Yeah, like that. Not a very big shade, but a very beautiful letter. Now the question is, do I keep all of my Cat Steven? Do I keep all of my shades that size, or do I try to make them as big as his? Now that I've made that one, I feel like I kind of have to make them all this size. I'm not the greatest at getting this specific shade very big on average. It's not something I'm great at. Oh, that one's even smaller than the first one. Jeez. I didn't mean to make it quite that dainty. Whoops. And far away too. Alright, now for this B. The TO came out really nice. The not so much, but I'm really happy with the TO. So maybe the second stroke. The second stroke is the hardest, 'cause it has to live up to the first. If the first was good, the first was bad, then the second one's probably gonna be good. Shut up, Mike. Right. Okay. Where does this one go again? Right. Quickly down. Just shade there. Okay. Got it. I've got it mapped out in my brain. Now I just have to do it. Easier said than done. Oh, I cut through the top of the bee. Darn it. That's okay. Hey. Ah, messed it up. Oh wait, he cuts through the top of the bee. I didn't cut to the top of the bee enough. Interesting. I didn't realize that. I could have brought this. Oh well, too late. Moving on. Now, to the best American penman. That looks like an R to me. I don't like that bee. Never have, never will. There's a lot of OP penmen who will also shade this bottom one that comes around. I don't like it. I know a lot of them used it, but I've never been a fan. For some reason or another, I've never been a fan of it. Alright, let's do this guy here. Does he connect those? Yeah, okay. Too much curve on this one. I wish it looked like that T. That T came out really nice, the first one. To the best American. Ooh, curry puffs. Make me one. Also, being AFK on a late night live night is unacceptable, James. You make your curry puffs before 9 p.m., okay? I'm actually really hungry. I had dinner really early today because I had to eat before my haircut, because I got home from my haircut and had to go straight into the live, so I ate really early, but now I'm hungry. Potbelly shade on that one. Not nice. Not a nice oval flow. He underlined it, man. What do you think he's saying? Somebody's better than you, Blozer, and it's not a man. Oh, pizza. I'm jealous. My dinner was really delicious. What did I have today? I had Asian chili salmon cakes with a vegetable shirataki noodle stir fry, which was quite yummy. Well, I was super fancy. I'm not usually that fancy with food, but I was fancy with my meal prep this week. At least to me, that's fancy. It's not that fancy, but for me, it's pretty fancy. Okay, we don't need to curl this. We just need it to be angled. Just a nice, smooth angle. Ooh, below the baseline, but that's okay. Oh, now you guys are just talking. You're really helping in my being hungry situation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, now this one we have to make sure that we make this go all the way up into the W. Okay, noted. Better than last time. I'll take it. Drinking beetroot juice? That doesn't sound... I don't know. I don't know what beetroot tastes like, I guess. At least I don't think I do. Panicked. I was focusing too much on how long the entry oval went and just let autopilot do the shade. Oh, he has an accent shade on the top of this B too. Nice B. Wow, your dog eats better than me too. That's like, I feel like that about Kahlo too. She always posts videos of what she feeds her dogs, and her dogs definitely eat better than I do. That hairline is gorgeous. Okay, now we gotta map out where this flourish is going. Martha's always a sugar tease, always. Tim Horton donuts are very good. The honey cruller is my favorite. My favorite donut ever. Second favorite donut ever. My favorite donut, if anybody's from Japan, the Japanese Pondo ring from Mr. Donuts. I don't know if it still tastes the same as it did back in 2001, but when I lived there, the Pondo ring from Mr. Donuts in Japan, it was new then, was the best donut I had ever had. I think I have to do this with whole arm. Shaded a little bit in the wrong spot. That's a weird shade. I need to practice that one. I'll note to self, dedicate some time this week to work on that shade. Alright, let's continue. We'll keep going. Now he has an F. Now this writing is smaller down here. I wonder if that was intentional. There's a good example of that variation of the F that I like using quite a bit. When you shade through it, putting the tick mark on the little oval shade that you used, you don't see it a ton, and I didn't really remember that it was in this piece, but I use it quite a bit, and it's cool to see Zaner use it here. Okay, capital O time. You guys are evil. I'm just gonna start ignoring the chat until everybody stops talking about food. Mango cake. Yes, my birthday is coming soon. It's next week, actually. It's coming up. Getting older. Oh, so old. I actually forgot how old I was turning. I was playing disc golf with a friend the other day, and we were talking about how old I was turning, and I definitely was 1 year higher than I thought I was. Whoops, I lost track of my age. Ugh, that is an ugly O. Very ugly. What is that? Kink. I won't fix it. I'll leave it there. So I remind myself to learn how to not do that. Ugh. I'll be 25, that works for me. Yeah, I forgot if I was turning 38 or 39, I couldn't remember. I think what got me on, I was randomly chilling one day and was like, 40. 40's not that far away. Like, that's only, how many years away is that? And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm turning 30, I'm 1 year away from 40. And then I guess thinking that convinced myself that I was 38 instead of 37. Whoops. And then I was disc golfing and my buddy was like, no man, we're the same age. You're 37, turning 38. I was like, ah, phew, well that's cool. I wasn't worried about being 39 or 38 or whatever age I thought I was. It was just an interesting thought. I'm glad I don't look late 30s. That's good to know. I don't feel late 30s either. This line spacing is a little bit too close for this letter, but that's okay. Oh, lost my hairline there. Interesting, Zaner didn't compound curve his downstrokes on his W's. He keep their one just a continuous slightly curved line. A lot of penmen compound curved there, and he, at least in this letter, did not. Oh, too big on that exit stroke. Oops. I'm ignoring the chat until you guys stop talking about food. Ooh, there's another nice T. There we go. The first T and this T right here. Two good shades in this piece. Oh, now this is a weird abbreviated version of the first B, so I get another crack at it. It's so weird. Does he curve it a lot? No. No more really than the T. Don't like that. Looks like an R. Whoa! That was supposed to be horizontal. Oh well. And not quite that big. CPZ. I wonder if people who were friends with CP Zayner just called him CPZ. Yo, CPZ! I'm pretty sure if I was his friend, or even if I wasn't his friend, that's probably what I would call him. He might hate me for it, but that's what I would call him. Ugh. Potbelly shade on there again. Zayner is a cool name. I agree. What? Oh, that's weird. I messed up the exit stroke on my C, so this doesn't really work. CPZ in the house. There we go. That's that letter. My first time ever doing the whole thing. I never write the vintage letters. Maybe I should do that more often. Woo. That was fun. I will remember this and I will retry this piece later on and see if I can improve it. I mean, that's the best thing to do when you forget someone's name. I am horrible with names. I never really forget faces. If I've met somebody before, I will remember meeting them, but I won't always remember where I met them or what their name is, unfortunately. Which becomes problematic, makes me feel like a jerk sometimes. Especially if people remember me, then I really feel like a jerk. But I try. I'm trying to get better at it, I swear. Okay, let's let that dry. I'm gonna practice some rounded forms, and then we're gonna try this Canan signature that Fozzie posted in the Discord. Do 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 do. Right round. The hardest thing for me to do ever. Turn my phone that way. So for those of you, if you don't have Discord, oh, you are far away. And that is too bright for the camera. There we go. That is the signature we're gonna try to replicate. And I don't feel like it shouldn't be that hard. Literally the hardest thing about this one I feel like is gonna be writing circular rather than ovoid. I mean, it's gonna be really awkward for me, but we'll see. His flourishes more than anybody else look like they were drawn and then written, but I mean, he wrote this way. Some of them were drawn. and then printed smaller. But Kanan is this type of a signature is one of the big inspirations for me when I do like my design work. I don't have to pull out the binder, you've all seen it. When I design signatures, they don't look like Kanan's work, but they're usually based on ovals, and there's a lot more circles than there would be in my regular writing. Ovals working with circles nicely. So it's, yeah. New piece of paper, that's what I need. Yeah, his flourishes are tricky. They're fun though. It's really the roundness. I can't write round like he does. It never looks like his. If you take Kanan's signatures and write them like any other penman, they don't look like Kanan wrote them. His are, you can pretty much always tell a Kanan signature. They're very distinctive because of the circular forms that he uses a lot of the time. Not always though, because he also had the ability to write like everybody else pretty much. One of the greats, like most of the greats, could write like each other. Alright, let's really quickly do a few warm-ups here, just with some of these strokes to see if we can get to, even this entry stroke is kind of wackadoodle. Circular. Big old circle. Whoa. Yep, that's pretty much the case most of the time. As much as possible, you want the nib to, as you're coming down the holder, you want the straight line from the holder to continue right to the point of the nib. That's the goal anyways. It doesn't have to always be exactly like that. Oftentimes my nibs will be slightly too far, sometimes. But it depends. Some of my holders just feel better to me that way. But the sort of rule of thumb is to have it always aligned with the middle of the holder. And then when you look at it this way, it doesn't have to be the middle this way. It could be farther up or farther down depending on your preference. But from this angle, you want it to be aligned as much as possible. Yeah, the main reason it can affect your writing, I mean, I can't really demonstrate because I don't have a nib that's actually, like, let's say for example, this nib is sticking out way too far, but just for example's sake, so right now my nib is too far to the right, so that has the potential, and it might be almost undiscernible, and this one's not that extreme, but while you're writing, it's where you're applying pressure. Come on, focus on the paper. Focus down here. Nope, okay. Where you're applying pressure. Focus on the paper. Silly camera. Where you're applying pressure, like it'll change. Here, if I loosen my grip completely and press, it's gonna cause that type of, like it's not pressing it's not pressing down from the pen, it's causing this rotation as it's pressing down. Whereas if the nib is farther in, they want to do the same thing, even without any pressure. When I'm pressing down, there's no rotation because nothing is off center. So when I press down, it's this whole holder is pressing down together. And same, ideally, if I was, this is, that looks hilarious. But if I were writing this way, the opposite type of thing would happen. When I press to make my shade, my pen's gonna sort of rotate this way a little bit. So it's where the center point is, and how it doesn't affect like your hairlines. The point is going to be where it is. But when you start to apply pressure, it's going to cause unwanted rotation in either direction a lot of the time. So to get rid of that, we have it right in the middle. And then when you press down, the only thing that's happening is the nib is pressing down, and you're getting an even shade, and your pen isn't force rotating. Force rotating, that sounds like Star Wars. But it isn't force rotating by accident. I don't think I've ever actually explained that before on a video that I can think of. And it's a minute thing. You may not feel it, which is why we call it. It's a rule of thumb. You can write without it being like that, but it's just oftentimes a lot easier, or it's gonna feel better if it's lined up that way. There's another thing that's hard with Kanans. He has they're beautiful, balanced, perfect, not perfect, but circles, and one is direct, one is indirect. And that is quite hard when you have to do ovals and matching forms where one is going one way, the other is going the opposite direction, like doing a direct oval, for example, matching an indirect oval. Like to get them to be exactly... Whoops, those are both the same way. Like to get them to both be the same takes a bit of work. So signatures that require parallel lines that when they change from counterclockwise to clockwise, they're, in my opinion, some of the most difficult to line up. And those ones are the ones that are often drawn in the designs. Those are the ones that the penman would often cheat. Can I show pen manipulation? Yes, I can. Let me just try to write this W once. Okay. This has to go up higher. Other than that, though, and this has to end in there. And this is way too shaded, and the shade should be here instead of over here. And this is an oval and not a circle. Ugh, this signature is going to be impossible. Pen manipulation, yes. So, time manipulation is when there's two terms that use the word manipulation that I use. One is time manipulation, where there's no rotation of my fingers at all. So I do my stem here. I'm forcing different tines out, so I can do the same pull stroke. I can do an evenly shaded stroke, or a left shaded stroke, or a right shaded stroke. Very similar to if you've done copperplate or engrosser script before, that sort of coffee bean practice stroke where they do the left, then the right, then the left, then the right, and it makes a little coffee bean. Those require time manipulation. So again, we have, that's me just with my pressure forcing the different tines to do different things. But those different things aren't rotating or changing the pen at all. That's just how I'm pressing is forcing the tine to act in a different way. And then with pen manipulation, that's when you physically rotate the pen, either while you're writing or when you're preparing for a stroke. I personally don't use a lot of pen manipulation in my writing. particularly in movement writing, there's not a lot of pen manipulation. Some people will add a flick, a rotation to the left, or sorry, rotation to the right, like this, at the end of their stem. So they'll finish a stem, and they'll do that flick. So that is a pen manipulation. I personally don't do that. I like to keep my pen this way. If it flicks at all, it happens subconsciously, but I try not to. So the way I do it is with time manipulation. So you get the same type of, you're pressing out, well, those are ugly shades, but you're pressing out to get that shade, but you're not required to do that rotation. Now, that only works with relatively quick movement writing. If you're going slower, then it is a lot of times, and again, not always, but a lot of times necessary to do some rotation of your pen. And that means, like if I was doing the capital stem, here, actually, let me zoom in again. I zoomed out, but you don't really need to see my hand for this. You just need to see the pen. So for a capital stem, it's the pen is rolling in my fingers this way. And just to show, you don't have to use manipulation if you're using a Leonard Principle, Hunt 101, or a relatively flexible nib. If you're using something like a Nico G, like Michael Saul uses, you pretty much guaranteed have to use manipulation, or you're just going to have a lot of trouble and digging into the page and that kind of stuff. So that rotation, as you're coming down, like you can do it without the rotation, so everything stays even. Or sometimes it helps you, makes your life a little bit easier to just roll it a little bit as you're coming through the shade. So you finish that way. So you can get very similar results. Different people will like different things. Most of the time, if you're writing slow, you're going to be more comfortable adding a bit of rotation. I personally don't, but I definitely did before I did movement writing. After I trained movement writing was when I started taking that out of my writing, just because of what I was used to for movement writing. But I definitely rotated for many years and still do sometimes, especially on like when you're flourishing and you have certain strokes to do to accommodate where the pen has to be. And these are the pen manipulations that I do use, and I used one tonight actually a little bit earlier. The very end, what's going on, Giancarlo? The very end of when I wrote Blozer, he has a shade that goes to the left, up and to the left, which is, when your nib is this way, it's almost impossible to get that shade up and to the left. You can do it, but it's almost impossible. So you can do one of two things. So the shade I'm talking about is if I have this stroke here, like that, and I wanted to shade this part. If I wanted to shade this part going up and to the left, so this middle part was all shaded. If I was here, it would be very difficult, because if I apply weight, I'm going to have trouble. So what some penmen would do is they would turn their paper and do that stroke this way. So they would be pulling down to themselves. Now for me, what happens is when I do that, this horizontal oval doesn't match the rest of the horizontal. Like, I'm not good at getting this oval to match the other ovals, because I always flourish on the horizontal plane. So what I do instead is I do this same movement, so all my shade or all my lines and paths look like I want them to. I will rotate my pen this way, almost like straight up. So I'm holding it very different than before. This is how I was regularly holding it. I'm holding it up like this, so it's going in this direction. But then my arm can create that same, it can create that shape as I'm going. I can do that shade up in that side without having to turn my paper. So it's a choice. Most penmen talk about turning the paper, and in like bird flourishing and stuff like that, you definitely do turn the paper. But for strokes like this, because I need this to look like the rest of the writing piece, it doesn't look that way when I do it. This is to me the hardest shade that I am trying to figure out, and every once in a while I get it right, but not very often. It's a tough one. It's always at the end of, Blozer always uses it at the end of his name, going up and over and then straight across and then finishing so he goes down in a hairline. That's the hard part. Like that. It has to finish tapering about here instead of down here like I did it. And it has to be thicker over here. But it's a tricky one. But I do that one with pen manipulation. So I'm here, I manipulate my pen up this way, and then I do the stroke that way. Sort of like that. I'm not good at it. So let's just pretend that you didn't see any of those failed attempts. But there's my explanation to pen manipulation. All right, Kanan, back to you. Or Kanan, however I'm supposed to say your name. Circle, circle, circle. I'm gonna have to do these quite small, I think. Circle, circle, circle. Ooh. So weird making circles. It just feels wrong. Okay, if this is my baseline, right, we gotta start a little bit higher. Tricky, tricky signature. Design isn't tricky, really. Like the paths and everything aren't that tricky, I don't think, but I did it again. I always end up right below the baseline. Because this is supposed to be your baseline, Mike. Again. Trial by fire here tonight. Okay, that's the idea. Parallel lines. I have a feeling this signature was drawn and not written. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling. Oh, that has to go down lower so it crosses, and this has to come up higher. If it was drawn, I feel like it's one of the examples in the Business Educator or in print, where he would have designed it, not super huge, but he might have designed it like 4 inches long or 5 inches long, and then had it printed smaller. That's why it's so even and perfect. I mean, that's usually how they did that. And we're able to add like slight little controlled shades exactly where they wanted them. They would design them larger, and then to make the hairlines look like hairlines, they would shrink it down. Because you'll notice, I mean, it's really hard to tell because everything we look at in the Business Educator is still print blocks, so we don't actually see the actual writing. But these hairlines are quite thick. There's not a lot of variance in the hairline itself. So like if a movement writing student were to bring this to me, I would have trouble gauging their movement because there's no diversity in here. It just looks like it was drawn and shrunk. Was it written? Quite possibly. Was it drawn? Quite possibly. I think more possibly. I think it was drawn larger and then shrunken down for print, which was quite common. Oh, and then this This H with a C that only Kanan can do. A C that's shaded so high, only Kanan can do it. Kanan's C's are shaded so high and the shade is so short. They are quite a challenge on their own. It's not a C, it's the second half of an H, but that's the same as a C. That's probably technically the hardest part of this whole signature, is that stroke, aside from the circles. Like, I'm taking up so much space over here. This needs to just be like... That's also a really awkward shape. This little weird upturned loop here feels very strange to my hand, and that has to be round. There's the path. I did the whole thing for the first time there. Doesn't look very good, but that's the idea. Okay, W. Has to go up a little bit quicker. Cross through the whole N. And this needs to still round out up there. Upper left needs to be rounder. I'm gonna try to slow down ever so slightly and see if I can maintain movement. Uh-oh. Wah! Excuse me. Okay, there's a pretty good first stroke. Not shabby. Now, that's okay. Not a beautiful shade, but it works. Oh, I didn't come up high enough from the W though. Whoops. Oh, that's not supposed to be a stem shade. Oops. Alright, I have to run to the restroom really quickly. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. Okay. Alright. We got that. We're getting that W figured out. Now we just gotta get the rest figured out. Or let our brain get it figured out, rather. Alright. Come up. Reference. Oh yeah, I didn't quite come up high enough there. Oh well. Now this has to come up quite high, at least halfway. Circle, 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 circle. Top corner. Nope. Now, we just have to make them all the same size. Approximately. So my W has to be taller. Okay. Circle, 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 circle. You know what would be neat? Technically, right now, while people are watching this YouTube video, you guys could be in the Discord video study room practicing what we're doing here together. There might even be a way, actually, I'm curious. I want to test something really quickly. We're gonna do it live because I'm curious. I would not usually be doing this because I'm streaming, but check it. If I share the link of this YouTube stream and then open Discord. Maybe I should do this on my phone instead. Oh yeah, I can't do this. Never mind. It won't work. Because I'm streaming. But one of you guys could. If you guys, in theory, copy the link to this YouTube video while we're live, you should be able to go into the late night or the 24-hour live study room on the Discord. In the music control room, if you type /play space the address of this video. Oh no, that'll just play the audio. Never mind. Scratch that. The only way to do the video is with screen share. Somebody would have to screen share the YouTube video into that room, and that's probably too much work. Never mind. Anyways, you could open them in 2 different rooms, but people could be live practicing. I could even see it, because I can watch on Discord, on my phone or something. People could practice what we do in the lives while I'm live. Kind of fun. A fun concept. A play-along game. Ooh. Not too bad. Roundish. Oh, I make that W way too tall, don't I? It should be like here. So that this has room to come around and be the same height as that one. Yeah. Super goobered up the H, but we're getting there. We're getting baby steps, ladies and gentlemen, baby steps. Again, if you want to follow along, this is Kanan's signature. Fozzie posted it in the Discord today. Give it a shot. If you do it, tag me. Let me see it. Ooh, not a very nice shade there. Bad movement. My circles are weird, wonky shaped because I'm slowing down to get the spacing right. So the lines aren't shaky, is the thing. I'm going fast enough that my hairlines are nice, but I'm going slow enough that I can still get wonky shapes in my ovals. My arm isn't moving smoothly around. That can be ironed out. That's much easier than getting rid of shakes. That's a matter of, that's where drills help that one a lot. Drills don't help as much with shake, specifically. But drills will help me drill in the circular shape into my muscles a little bit more. Ah, too small. Oh well, keep going. Messed up the end of the H again. Let's finish this one, why not? Very traditional Spencerian lowercase letters he has here. Very tall and condensed horizontally compared to what we normally see in OP. And that little stroke. Ugh, this is wonky. Again, too slow. I wonder if he did that shade. Must have. With a little bit of movement, maybe? Or he might have just drawn that in later. And then this shade. Different than the one that Blozer did. Oh, it ends right under the W. The shade should be here and not over here. Whoops. Alright, but we're closer. Try that again. Another habit I'm trying to get rid of is when you guys will see it, I do this. I lean my head this way when I'm writing, and I don't need to do that. I have the same amount of visibility when I'm here that I do when I'm here. But for some reason, I always do this when I write. And I don't need to. Or I shouldn't need to anyways. Paper moved. Drat. Does the whole lowercase fit inside that little oval? It doesn't. It goes through the O. Okay, so I can make that even smaller. I can't do that ending shade. In my current arm state, I would have to do that hairline and draw that shade in later. I can't get that shade right where it needs to be, or I have to do that flourish so slowly. I could do that flourish slower, I guess. Nope. Yeah. Nope, because we're not. I can do that, but then that's not movement. You'll see it in my hairlines. Unacceptable. Man. The follow through. Need that follow through as if I'm making a giant, that's what I need. Giant direct oval underneath in my brain. That's what I need to do to create that shape. And then I'm shading the top long axis of that oval. Okay. That's what I needed. That's not perfect, but you'll hear me talk a lot about reference things like that quite a bit. You'll see something and you have to change the way, at least this is, I can only speak for me. I have to change the way I specifically think about it. So that's two different ways of creating the exact same thing. I'm trying to create the same stroke, but what I imagine coming after it, and as if it's a part of a larger flourish, if I imagine that, then my follow through will end up creating, or more likely will end up creating a closer look to the original of what I'm going for. So you'll often hear me in a lot of my classes and these streams, you'll hear me say that I'm imagining this, or this, because if I don't imagine those things, the stroke will never look right. And that's where, like, those implied ovals, a lot of times in ornamental penmanship, we're not trying to replicate, we're not trying to create, it's gonna sound weird, we're not always trying to create the specimen that we saw. We're trying to, we have to, for our muscles to do it, we have to recreate the movement that created that piece, not specifically just the piece itself. And case in point, that one stroke. I didn't get it perfect, but changing the mentality about it completely changes the way it comes out of your hand. Because it changes the flow of everything. And that's what movement writing is all about. My circles are definitely not the same size. How does he get the W and the N to be the same size? I guess the N just... because it's this. That's what it is. It's coming out of this. What's going into that? This has to be shorter. So we will imagine a little circle right here instead of an oval. And then we can bring this down farther without crossing that line when we come up here. Booyah! Didn't realize that before. Okay. Can't hit a baseline, but oops, no shade there. They're all the same size. Okay, that's what we needed. Is anybody still here? The chat has been very quiet for a very long time. Or are you guys writing? What's everybody doing? Eating breakfast? Eating dinner? Sleeping? Not circles. Circle, 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 circle. Ooh, that one's pretty circular. Ah, ruined it. Should have gotten there. We would have been in a good spot. I should have moved the paper before I did that. Right. Canon's H's are impossible. Ooh. The H shade is too long, but not too bad on this one. Oh, and yeah, I didn't go far enough here on the end, so I can't fit both the A and the R inside this oval, but that's okay. Okay, pressure's on. Can we do it? Big oval there. Not very big, but the weight's in the right spot. And then he heads or has a little shade right there. Definitely the best I've ever done that signature. I think I can do it better, but we've made some headway. That one looks pretty decent. Obviously, little issues here and there that we can iron out, but where did everybody go? Nobody's talking to me. Or is my chat broken? Are you guys still here? Or is my stream frozen? Whoa! My stream was frozen. Wait, oh my goodness. I'm scrolling up now. Dude, pages and pages and pages of chat. Wow. Sorry, my chat has literally been frozen since I sneezed. And you guys wrote, bless you. Aravin's here. Yep, Ojaswini Discord has screen share. I could legitimately open Discord, play a movie on my computer, and stream it, and all you guys we could have a movie night. You guys could watch a movie with me. We can all watch together. What we got here? You guys are Zoom. What's the difference between OP and Spence minuscules? OP minuscules, I mean, Spencerian minuscules are ornamental penmanship, but what we come to know as ornamental penmanship, they're usually a little bit smaller, and they're spaced out usually a little bit wider than traditional Spencerian. Oh, Marilyn said goodbye. Good night, Marilyn. I think she's probably gone already. I can't believe how much of the chat I missed. Fozzie's answered the question about the OP thing. Ojaswini's talking about needing a nap. Manish is observing closely. Fozzie ate. James is crying into his dough. Oh, James, why'd your dough fail? That's no fun. Oh, I totally, Miss Marilyn said goodbye again, and I didn't say goodbye because I didn't see it. I can't believe my chat was completely frozen. What up, Daniel? We're working on this signature. I might try it one more time, or I might leave it here, because this one turned out pretty good. And Martha is working on the V, N, and H. Sorry, I'm playing catch up in the chat now, because my chat was frozen for a long time. His H, the C, like the last shade on his H, is really hard to do for me. And then, yep, Leonard Principal tonight. Aravind asked, Ojaswini answered. Fozzie said, yes, I do deserve a donut. I agree. And Daniel, capital stem revelation a couple days ago, executing them with slight pressure with the index finger on the holder. Seems to give a very smooth shade. That's good. That works for you. That is good. Congratulations on the revelation. Fozzie says, we're still here. Everybody, we're still here. Sorry, I was so confused. Now everybody's just saying, we're here, we're here, we're here. And there we go. I scrolled to the bottom. Hilarious. Is there a way to get notifications if somebody joins? No, unfortunately. There is a way, if you join and if you join the live, I would recommend in like the lobby, make a post or say that you're joining live, because I'll get everybody, if your notifications are turned on, you'll get the notifications that somebody is going in. You'll get that text chat, but you won't get the notification if somebody jumps in there. But if you post that you're jumping in there, there's a good chance people will see that and then they can jump in and join you. Like I did, was that yesterday? When I posted about it and some people joined in. Don't use the @everyone. Don't tag @everyone, because there's a lot of people on the Discord. I don't even know if you guys are allowed to tag, if you guys have the ability on the Discord to @everyone. But don't @everyone, because that's, I mean, there's a lot of people in there. Not everybody needs to get notified. I'll only use that for special announcements and things like that. Ah, that's nice, Daniel. Right on. That's wicked. All right. I'm going to leave this one here for now. It's not perfect. I think I can do better, but for right now, I'm happy with it, and I worked on it for quite a bit. You guys got to see that process from beginning to end, or to not end. I wish. There's not a Tim Hortons close to me, but I shouldn't eat a donut. I do want a snack. I'm probably going to have a bowl of cereal when this stream is done. What should we write now? Nobody else has recommended anything from the Business Educator. I'm going to see here. I have a few that I've pulled over the years. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Tom Norton's. Okay, there's this really cool, I want to do this one day, but maybe not today. There's this awesome signature by Berensmeyer that I want to do one day. It's pretty neat. Or, I don't know if I feel like doing another signature right now. But there are some cool signatures that I have ready for our next Sigsling and Sunday challenge, like that one. Wait, did we already do that one? I can't remember. Did he stick flowers in the signature? No, he stuck a, zoom in all the way. It's an oblique holder and a straight pen. Just sticking out like there. The B is a pen holder. Or is like a little cup. Kind of an interesting style choice. But he has a very flourished piece here. All of this is cool. I want to do more of this type of sickles work. What do I want to do? I might try this one. That one? Yeah. I might try this one by Lupfer. It's really light. It's quite small. Well, I'm going to write it quite small. But it says, anyone who is dexterous in common things and has a burning desire to master the art form or the art of penmanship can do so if he or she is willing to go through the necessary training and work. That's his way of saying anybody can be a penman so long as they are dexterous in common things. And most people are dexterous in common things. I think I want to try this one. If you want to do this, if you want to see this piece, it is in Business Educator volume 24, page 25, or page 35, I believe. Volume 24, page 35 of the Business Educator. 2435. I'll write that here. Whoops. There we go. What up, Lori? Welcome. All right, we're about to start this thing. Now, the first thing I need to know, because the very first letter flourishes all the way down to the bottom. How many lines? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of text. So if I were to start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the flourishes have to happen down here. Ooh, so that's movement writing for sure to get down there. Okay. Oh, you guys couldn't see a darn thing I was doing. Sorry. All I was doing was marking the page where all the lines would go roughly. Because that first A has to flourish all the way down to the very bottom. I will zoom out when I do that stroke. Oh, we got all kinds of this compound curve shade today. Where's this going? Double shade, compound curve. Oh, interesting start. All right, Martha, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy picking up panels. Okay, that's the idea of the shape. And then this next flourish. Tina's here. Tina, is this your first time chatting today? Did you start chatting to say goodbye to Martha? Or you haven't been chatting with us all day? Okay. What does this bottom flourish look like? How many times you go? So he flourishes in between. So there's where he does a loop in between each one of the written lines. Technically, you could write them all and then do this after, or you could do it first. I don't know which way he did it, but okay. What does that look like? Finishes that one to go way down here to do that shade that I can't do. Over, double loop, and then around. Oh my goodness. How do we recognize if you're doing movement writing or not? Well, hard to explain. I don't really know how to tell someone to recognize movement writing. Basically, it's if your hairline looks like you wrote it quickly, if it looks as thin and as wispy as it can look. Like if you do a fast oval, you do an oval like this, whoops, nip snap, that the way that hairline looks, if it doesn't look like that, then you're not doing movement writing. That's one way. There are more things to tell, but it's sort of hard to explain. Jeez. This is weird. Okay. This would maybe be easier if I wrote the words first. The lowercase, but we're just gonna go for it anyways. Oh, that was the end one. Whoops. Oh, whoops. This was supposed to come up over this one. This didn't drop down nearly low enough. Man, that is a struggle. But then you can't write the lowercase letters because you have wet ink down here. So that A might just happen afterwards. Maybe I'll do it afterwards. I think I'm gonna do it afterwards. I'm repeating myself a lot. Yep, we're gonna do it afterwards. Was that a good one? Was that nice and scratchy? I guess I could bring the microphone closer to the paper so we can get more of that scratchiness. I had it far away because it was in the way of my computer earlier. We could bring this a little closer for you. Let me know if that ruins the sound of my voice at all. You're supposed to, all the videos for sound in YouTube say you gotta point the mic right at your mouth. But then my brain says, but the nib scratching sounds. I was thinking of buying a super targeted shotgun mic, but then it would essentially erase the sound of the nib. And then I thought, well, what if I had two mics? One mic pointing at my face and one mic pointing at my paper. And then I thought, no, you don't make any money off of YouTube. You can't afford to do that. If YouTube made me money somehow, a little bit more, then I would maybe invest in something like that. But we're not there yet. Yeah, I'm gonna do the second half of the A because afterwards, because I mean, even with my hand here, it's really hard to tell where the spacing would be for each one of these loops. It's a lot of, it feels like guesswork. Yep. Okay. Well, let's get a new sheet and give it a shot. Give it a shot, shall we? Give it a shot. Hey, Mike, why don't you give it a shot? That sounds like a great idea. Here we go. Do this beautiful A right in the middle. Can I do this A any better than I did before? Yes, I can. Just do it. I straight up hit my left, I mean, you guys, I'm zoomed out so you guys probably saw it. I full on bumped my finger with my thumb. I think it was with my thumb. Ugh. No good. But we're going to still experiment here. We're going to continue on with the quote. My audio is better now. That's good. I mean, if my microphone is closer, it should, I guess in theory, it should make my audio better. Just my microphone isn't the best one in the world, so you never know. Stupid fingers getting in the way. This Y I've been using so often in my writing. Oh, he really spaces this one out quite a bit. I definitely didn't leave enough space for the second line of the A, but that's okay. This is a test. And also his line spacing is much wider than mine, so mine's gonna be quite a bit more condensed, but that's all right. Anyone who is dexterous. Ooh, groovy sound. My left hand was like, what? I'm just hanging out here, man. Oh, that was a hardcore call out, Daniel. Man, wow. Citing Zayner's lesson against me. I will say the reason I was holding the paper here is because of the paper clips that I use. They hold this top part. The paper is not flat on the paper on the desk here. I could do it this way, and then I could hold the bottom. I still usually hold the top though, but in this specific instance, my finger was farther in than it normally would be because I was holding this paper down so that my flourish wouldn't be affected, and I didn't imagine I was going to go that far to the left. But that's an awesome call out. And yes, I should listen to Zayner. I don't like holding just below. Sometimes I'll do it, like if I'm using a glide sheet like this is usually how I'll hold it. Sort of right, I guess that's still right beside. I never go all the way below. It feels weird. Maybe I should do it. Zayner said so maybe I should. Oh, there's supposed to be a shade there. There's almost no extra shades added to these to these lowercase letters. I'm shading mine much more than I should be. Okay, we're gonna have to space that one out a little bit more on the next run. There's a burning desire. That is one of the nicest round T crossings I think I've ever done. Can you guys see that far away? My, what's it called? My, preview is really tiny, so it looks very, very small for me, but hopefully that works. To master. Oh, that line was supposed to keep going. Hold on. Well, this one, I'm doing my regular word spacing and not his spacing. Oh, alright, Fozzie. Bye. Ooh, Crystal Show and Tell. Okay, remind me next live. We'll do that. Cool. Yeah, if you remind me in the next one, we can do a show and tell. I won't do it now because you're not here. This is good practice for lowercase letters. I should do more stuff like this. Because my lowercase letters need work. Also should be moving the paper more, but I want to try to do it as much as I can without moving too much. That wasn't a very nice hairline. I do not usually use that ending to the G because it tends to look like a Q. Okay, last line. Oh, and I didn't make this one spaced out enough, or I made it too spaced out. Okay, there's all the lowercase letters done. Now for the easy part. Okay, so let's just pretend that these are all in a beautiful, nice column. Have I read The Theory of Spencerian Penmanship? I have. It's been a while, so I cannot quote it. I don't remember specifically. I've read a lot of Spencerian books, so I don't remember specifically what they talk about in that one specifically, but I definitely have read it. Yeah, we're going to imagine that there's a straight line right here. Oops. And then this goes down. Sure, let's just see what happens. Yeah, this is the easy part, right? We did the hard part. It was all the lowercase letters. Are these lines all dry? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, and my A is way too, or my N is way too close to my A. Oops. But that's all right. Okay, where are we going here? It's so much easier when you have the words there to see where you're supposed to go. Doesn't mean it'll turn out any nicer, but I can see where I'm going at least. This one, I'm just gonna... Okay. Huh. Interesting. I did these too slow. You can tell by the fact that they're all so different. Luckily, they're all in the same angle, but if I did it a little bit quicker, they would look more uniform in shape. And then obviously I shaded this in the complete wrong spot. Other than that, not bad. Spacing, also it's not centered. This would have to come a little bit farther. Okay. I'm gonna try this again because I could do better. The fact that my A is going right through my N is a super no-no, but it has a Q and a format. What do you mean by it has a Q and a format? Rose? Ooh. I don't have tea. Let me drink some water. I wish I had cookies. I really do. Oh, a Q and A format. I thought you were telling me it had a style of... Yeah, everybody in chat obviously got that, and I didn't. Oh, I'm not very smart. Q&A format. Got you. Right on. Asking questions is probably one of the best ways to teach a student. When I work with people in person, that's one of the ways I like to do things. If something's there, you say, like, what's wrong with this? Well, I ask, well, what is you pose a question that gets the student to find the answer rather than you telling them the answer. Okay, let's try this piece again. I don't want to write on the bottom of the page, so I'm going to get a new sheet. I'm going to try this one more time. I'm gonna use some paper that's a little bit more spaced out. We'll get my my file folder, guide sheets. We use one that's 5/16 instead of 1/4. Instead of 1/4. Pew, 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 pew. The one with the dots, I think that was for, I think that one's for Signwriter script, or for Shaded Spencerian. Well, that's ridiculous, James. Skydiving scares me. If something goes wrong with the flourish, I survive. If something goes wrong with skydiving, I don't get to flourish anymore, ever. Okay. Here we go. Let's try this again. See if we can't start it off really nice with a nicer A than before. Cool. Do I have to do that A with movement writing as well, or with... Maybe I have to do that with whole arm writing as well. Take off this paper clip so that same thing doesn't happen again. Like that, okay. Oh, whoops. This is supposed to go this way. Oh well, going with it. This is gonna come down here. Oh, I didn't bring this far enough over again. Ugh, oh well. Oh well. Nope. I don't really do things that have the potential to be physically harming to me. Not because I'm... Well, I guess, yeah, it's because I'm scared. I don't want to die. I feel like it would be fun. I would maybe do it if a really good friend was doing it on their birthday or something like that, but I'm not super keen on it, so it's not something I would rush to do on my own. All right, Lori, good night. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, we somewhere got off the line. My paper rotated. The problem with guide sheets. I just don't like writing without one. I can, and I do, but I don't like it as much. Whoa. Oh, is it gonna hit midnight? Uh-oh. Is willing to go through the... If we hit midnight, I'm keeping going without the black light on. Because I want to finish this. What do you mean, if we hit midnight? It's going to happen in 2 minutes. So yes, we're definitely going to hit midnight. Is willing. To go through the... Space this line out a little too much. Shoot. Oopsies. Whoa, midnight. Okay, Google, turn off glow light.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What? Okay, Google, turn off glow light.
Okay, turning the
For now. Oh, I'm mad that I messed up that line. I went too far. Oops. Oh, I did it on this one too. What? Am I writing bigger all of a sudden? What's happening? Okay. Hard part done. Now for the easy part. Okay, right in the middle, so right here. I might wuss out on this shade and then draw it in later, maybe. Okay, what did I say about the last one? I had to go faster. And there are small shades on each one of those little loops, which I wasn't thinking about ever. This is the stressful part. Okay. Wait till that ink dries for a moment. Where does that A cut through? All the way after anyone. Why is it so easy to forget what that... Nothing else to it but to do it. Okay. How big are these gonna be? Just go for it. Here we go. Oh, you guys couldn't see the last part. Again, shade is in the wrong spot. These ovals turned out way nicer. They're a little far to the left, but oh, and I'm still not in the middle. I have to come over a little bit. But it's better than the first time. And we'll go. It's the shade. The worst part of this whole thing is that darn shade. Wait, it's there. Oh, and the finishing touch, I have to add the oh, that was way too small, but I had to add the little tick inside the A. Well, that's not too shabby. I'm not gonna do it again tonight maybe, but I will do it again because I want to get this one right. Oh, whatever, James. If you did it, it would look just as good, if not better, and you know it. All right. Well, I'm quite happy with that. I could be a lot happier. I need to drop my X height. I need to keep the spacing is good, I think. But I need to drop my X height a little bit. Not mess up the beginning. Do the actual right shape there. But I'm not mad at it. Can't type. Deceased. Whatever. Okay, Google. Turn off studio. Okay, Google. Turn on glow light. Oh, brightness. Now, I don't know. This nib might be too sharp for... Oh, I guess we could do it again in glow. The hairlines won't look nearly as good, but we could try it again in glow. Maybe we'll do that. That could be fun. Yep, let's do it. Why not? Let me put a lid on my walnut or on my iron gall ink before I forget. Oh yeah, music. Oh, do I have a... I need to find a playlist for... Sorry, we're a little behind midnight. 7 minutes after. What else we need to change? Let's change my camera here. There we go. Now you can see me. Not that you want to see me, maybe, but now you can. Oh, the camera's so washed out. I wish I could get better contrast. Oh, and my teeth are super glowy. This light is so bright. Like, so bright. Oh, does... My yarn pylon glows much better than the Lego pylon in the black light. It's a rave. It's craziness! Okay. And that's where everybody left. Everybody in the chat's like, yo, peace out. This is too much to handle. Okay. Let's do this in a glow light. We might nib off really good. Now, the paper that I use for glow light is a little bit more textured. So, oof, risk. This might be nib snap a little bit. Can I use the same paper? Maybe I can just use the other paper. And then I don't have to worry about it quite as much. I don't know this channel at all, or this playlist, but it's called EDM, so I'm assuming it's the right energy for what we need. Now I totally forget what that shade on the A looks like. Come back. That one that has to go farther right. I have to go here. Over. That one has to go. So this has to go higher. Yeah, okay. I don't want to enter Snap City. I do not like Snap City. Rose, have you been here for a blacklight party before? At midnight, the lights go out. We get the club action starts, and we use black lighting. Do 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 do. Okay. Let's go for it. Let's just see what happens, shall we? Well, I did that pretty darn big. In fact, I did that way too big. Because I'm supposed to be writing on this line. Oh, crap. Okay, we'll use this paper as a practice sheet. That's better. I did it again. I didn't go far enough. Why is that start so weird? That one, come on. Now that just looks awkward. How does he make that not look awkward? This part has to come up higher and then it won't look awkward. Because you'll exit out that way. Nope. Okay. It's got pretty high energy. Drop the bass. There might be a delay. I don't know if you guys hear the music at the same time as I do. That's what we needed, I think. Because then this ends up going into those. Is that how that's supposed to look? I mean, I guess this is supposed to go through the end, but good enough. Okay. Okay, really quick bathroom break, and then we're gonna do it. Sorry for the build up, and then to pause it momentarily. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. Ugh. I guess we just have to do it, right? I still feel like we can do a better job of this A. Whatever, let's just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. We can't get good hairlines and really good lowercase letters with this ink anyways. Ooh, starting with a new song. Here we go. But it would be quite nice if I could nail it. That would be good, and I would be very happy. Just do it. No more thinking, just do it. If I triple space it, 3. That'll make it too long. Darn it, I have to do it double spaced. Okay. I did it again. Shoot. Too spaced out. Darn it. Making small mistakes is really annoying. Kind of more annoying than making big mistakes. Couldn't remember what R he used. Shoot. Bummer. What is like a little fly thing? Where'd you come from? Little fly thing, get out of here. You're not allowed. No white ink or no wet ink for you. Penmanship. Can do so if he. Is this the one that I went too long? I can't remember. Nope. Oh, that was supposed to compound curve. Oh well, too late. Doesn't matter. If he is willing to go through the... Oh, this one's too long. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't paying attention. Lots of therapy or alcohol. Now, blacklight ink takes a lot longer to dry. I'm not going to be able to do the ending flourish right now. I'm going to have to wait a bit, I think, unfortunately. Ooh. Oops. Okay, there's that. Now I have to wait for it to dry. It's going to take a minute. Oh, what did you delete? I didn't say anything. I haven't looked at the chat since I started this whole thing. Yeah, sometimes I get students that just get full lockup, but usually that's if we're practicing like freestyling or something like that. And then it just ends up being me trying to get them in a really comfortable sort of state, and giving them something to do. So they don't feel like they do nothing, like even just like a step together, like step to the right, step together, step to the left, step together, like that. Essentially the two-step, not the cowboy two-step, but it's called a two-step, and it's sort of the foundation of where like hip-hop came from. And it can look really funky, but it can also it gets people moving. So you get them doing that, and then you start building up when they're confident with that. Then you build more things until eventually they can dance, and they love to dance. It's good. Twerking laying upside down on a bed. Interesting. I don't know how to tell if this is dry or not. I don't want to test it because it'll smear it. Tell you what I'll do. I'll put a hairline mark on this paper. And when it's dry, I can assume, I'll put a couple little T shades, just some hairlines, and when we'll test that, and when that's dry, we'll do this crazy big ending flourish to finish off this piece. Oh, I mean, it's in the chat. Everybody would have seen it already. I could have indeed reenacted it, that's true. My clothes aren't glowy enough. You would hardly be able to see. Twerk. Nope. I do not twerk. Not my jam. Okay, the hairlines are dry. Whoa. That tea was definitely not dry. Okay. Why do you take so long to dry, Blacklight ink? Come out. It's late. But I probably could. Yeah, James, don't do that. Order a new bottle and then pour it into another bottle and then dip into that bottle. And then you don't ruin your fresh bottle of Blue Ghosts. I'm curious. I don't want to sacrifice this bottle of Blue Ghost, but I might order another one and see what happens if I mix like a little bit of gum arabic, like a little bit more gum arabic or something to it. Because it's designed for fountain pens, so it's super liquidy. But if I could cut that back just a little bit, I wonder if I can get it. It wouldn't be good for fountain pens then, obviously, but I wonder if I could get it so I could get an actual, like a really nice hairline. That's what I was trying to do earlier today with a gold ink. I was trying to mix it to the perfect consistency so I could still get a hairline. And I got one that hairlines like crazy fine, but it needs a little more pigment, I think, because on certain angles it looks really gorgeous, but in other angles you can't see it at all. But the hairline is perfect. What up, Catcher? Welcome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the gum arabic would make a difference or not, but okay, that tea is relatively dry. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna assume it's dry. Throw caution to the wind and do this. Zoom out a little bit more so you guys can see the whole thing this time. Oh, this is stressful. Green circle, white K. Purple circle, white K. Okay. Let's once again remind ourselves what this flourish looks like. YouTube changed your color. That's unacceptable. YouTube, you can't just mess with someone's identity like that. Like, is this all dry? Yeah, gotta be. Okay, we're going... Okay, for this shade, I have to remember to shade sooner. Shade, and then let go of the shade. And bring it farther to the left so that it's centered, ideally. Okay, pressure. Yeah, right there is where center is. That's where we want it. Okay. Here we go. We'll see what happens. Is this in the right spot? Can I reach everything? A little farther away. Go. Stress. Okay, here we go. Do it. Rip off the band-aid. Oh, I think I changed it by accident. Now we'll add the little tick for the A. And we're done. Oh no, we gotta do EA love first. Down here. I want to do it on a different line. Let's do it right there. There we go. That way so it glows a little better. I mean, the shade at the bottom is still pretty weak, and I got three nib snaps in there that cut the flow of that hairline, but that's okay. It could be a lot worse. Definitely could be worse. Well, fun. Ooh. Sip of water. How did I change? Oh no, I didn't really. Just my ovals were kind of wonky on that last little bit. I didn't drop it down quite far enough. That's okay. Looks cool. That was fun. Yay, writing sessions. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna cut this one here. This was really fun. I had a good time today. It's been a while since we made it to midnight, and yeah, it felt good. Third time's a charm. I mean, I'm definitely gonna do it again. I want to do it with regular ink so I can get really nice hairlines, and I'm gonna do one with proper spacing. I have to get either do it by eye, but because the whole thing, to make the piece look like Lupfer did it, it has to be narrower and longer a little bit. So I will work on figuring that out to work a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna work out the spacing and I'm gonna try it again. Probably won't be a live video. I might make a video of it, but it won't be a live video. We'll see. Or I might not film it. Then there's less stress. I tend to write better when there's less stress. But yeah, tonight was really fun. Thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Good night, everybody.